From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, July the 21st, 2023. Israel's President Isaac Herzog was in New York yesterday, where he met with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres at the headquarters of the United Nations, where Herzog said, "I expressed my deep concern at the hostility towards Israel in UN bodies, seen in negative votes and a one-sided view of the conflict in our region. We expect the UN," Herzog said, "to stand resolutely with us against Iran, which calls publicly for Israel's destruction, and to stop it acquiring nuclear weapons." The president noted he was joined by Leah Golden at the UN, mother of Lieutenant Hadar Golden, whose remains, along with those of his fellow IDF soldier, Staff Sergeant Oron Shaul, have been held by terror group Hamas in Gaza since 2014. Hamas also holding 2 Israeli civilians. Herzog saying, "We raised the need to return the Israeli prisoners and missing, as well as the war against terrorism." Herzog also met with New York City Mayor Eric Adams and with New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who shared their support of Israel. And last night, Herzog participated in a large public event organized by the UJA Federation of New York and the Consulate General of Israel in New York, where he was interviewed by CNN journalist Biana Golodriga. An evening the president's office called that was a powerful demonstration of unity, support, and love for Israel. The Times of Israel reports that an Israeli man was stabbed today in the Jerusalem neighborhood of Gilo in what is suspected of being terror-related, though that is still being investigated. The victim, said to be in his 30s, was taken to the hospital in serious condition and is said to be in intensive care. One suspect was arrested in relation to the incident. Well, more than 1,100 Israeli Air Force reservists threatened to stop volunteering in their positions if the judicial reforms pass Israel's Knesset without broad agreement. Kan News' military correspondent Itai Blumenthal tweeted this morning that 1,142 officers in the Air Force sent a letter to the Knesset and commander of the Air Force, writing in part, "Legislation that allows the government to act in an extremely unreasonable manner will harm the security of the State of Israel, will cause a loss of trust and a violation of my consent to continue risking my life, and will lead with deep sorrow and no choice to suspending my volunteer reserve duty." IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari wrote in response that the security of the citizens of the State of Israel rests on the regular and reserve servants. These, he said, are the best of our people, and we are full of appreciation for their contribution. Noting the letter was received and that the IDF is checking the details and will examine the meanings accordingly. Meanwhile, thousands continued their march from Tel Aviv toward Jerusalem today in protest of the judicial overhaul, walking along roadways, forests, and highways, and camping out along the way. A total of 37 miles, planning to be at the Knesset or outside the Knesset when it votes on the so-called reasonableness bill on Sunday. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office announced that he will make a diplomatic visit to Turkey next Friday to meet with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Prime Minister's visit will follow just 3 days after Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas's visit to Turkey. Erdogan noting both will be in Turkey in the course of the same week to discuss, he said, Turkey-Palestine relations and the latest developments in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as well as other topical international issues. Netanyahu will be the first Israeli prime minister to make an official visit to Turkey since Ehud Olmert in 2008. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, July the 21st. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, Muzika with Tamar Eisenman. At 9, the film The Making of a Martyr. At 10, Congressman Jamie Raskin talks about Unthinkable, his memoir that recounts the harrowing early days of 2021 that changed his life forever. At 10:30, it's a replay from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, a look at this week's Torah Portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, July the 21st, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well, and Shabbat Shalom.